Hi, this is Amy with Intuitive Coaching with Amy Radio, and this is your sacred space for spirituality, intuition, manifestation, and metaphysical wisdom. All right, so I did not want to do this show. Um, but my spirit guides just keep giving it to me and keep giving it to me and keep giving it to me. So, of course, I have to do it. So, take a breath. I'm pretty sure I'm going to title this show, If You Just Got Out of a Relationship. Take a breath. Hear me out. Give yourself a beat. I am seeing more and more people, like never before, go from one long-term relationship, and it might have had a messy ending. It might have had an abrupt ending. They probably came to me for intuitive coaching to help them through it. And then next thing I know, they're right back in another relationship. Take a beat. And sure, this is, I obviously it can apply to men too, but I'm going to talk to women specifically because I'm seeing it a lot. Smart, gifted women who've worked on themselves and deeply spiritual. They finally leave that relationship that's not working, and next thing I know, they're back in a relationship. Like, take a beat. Take a beat, take a beat, take a beat, take a beat. We are living in modern times. My spirit guide said, right, that we are living in modern times. And then they flash to me. I read a lot of historical romances where way back when women couldn't own property. Women couldn't even really have a intimate relationship without being married. Women couldn't vote. Women couldn't even hold their own wealth. Maybe towards the Regency era, if the circumstances were right, they might be able to have like a brother who allows them to maintain an inheritance that they received. But for the most part, women couldn't have agency over their own life. They needed a man. We are not living in those times. We can take care of ourselves. We can own our own properties. We can work without being in poverty. We can thrive. But even more than that, we have access to resources to help us heal emotionally, to help us look at childhood wounds that might have played out in that romantic relationship. We also, even more on the mystical side, we have never before, never in the history of manifestation, right now in this time-space reality, there are resources to help you attract the exact relationship you desire. And I'm not saying you have to go through a super lengthy healing process, which maybe we saw 20 years ago in love manifestation. I believe, though, you might need to shift your self-concept a bit, the way you see yourself, what you believe is possible for you. Give yourself a beat. You can be alone while you return back to center. Also, grieving is a thing. Anytime you're leaving something, there will be a grieving process, no matter how smoothly you think you move through it. I have two things in my life that I was grieving over the last 3 years. One was leaving the Bay Area. Two was the death of my mother. And only now am I finally getting back to myself where I'm like, ooh, I'm looking at the world again like me. And I work on myself. I do my practices. I stay aware. I am self-accepting. I'm forgiving. I'm compassionate. I'm not perfect, but yeah, I do the work. And only now, with those being back-to-back situations, only now am I getting back to myself. I couldn't imagine if I ran into a romantic relationship, it would be just a mess. I mean, me a year ago, I would have told him, like, oh, I'm going to live happily ever after in the suburbs, right? And now I'm like, as I'm, coming back to myself, I'm like, oh no, I know who I am. I'm a city girl. Anybody who's been listening to the show for any length of time knows I've lived in the city. And the times I've found myself in the suburbs, I've been manifesting myself out just as soon as I manifested myself in, right? But that awareness, like literally a year ago, I felt safer being in the area where I grew up because I was grieving. And so you have to give yourself that beat to grieve. You have to give yourself the beat to recover. You have to give yourself the beat to get clear about what you want next and what type of relationship is going to work for you. Jumping from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing, maybe one might work, but you increase your chances of something really working for you if you give yourself the time. And again, I didn't want to give this message. I've been seeing it and I've been like, ooh, really? Okay. And I'm trying to be open to it. Like, I want to be evolved in that way that we can go from one thing to another thing really quickly. And I do believe that if you've been in a long-term relationship, maybe that last 2 years, that was you exiting. So you might have been grieving as you were exiting that thing. But I still think everybody needs a beat. Back in the day on Sex and the City, they used to say it's half the time you're with the person it takes you to recover. For real. For real. I am going to stand firm in that. Because here are my thoughts. If you give yourself that time, if you really give yourself that time, I truly believe you increase your chances of attracting a relationship that is lasting for you, if that's what you want. And I know there's probably somebody saying, well, Amy, what if somebody's just getting into another relationship that's not serious, that's casual, that is, they just want some companionship. Cool. I'm down with that. I'm down with that 100%. But you know yourself, if you are a person who has dated casually and then you wound up in a long-term situation and you're like, oh, I just want some companionship. But that's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing people start planning their futures with people. And in some cases, I'm seeing people replace what that role was that their previous partner was with somebody else. And I'm not saying that that's not possible or normal. I'm not saying that. I'm like, just give yourself a beat and make sure. Like, my ex-husband was really good at putting things together. And I am not. That is where I'm super advanced, intuition, psychic abilities. When it comes to putting something together, I'm not good at it. Will my next husband, be able to put shit together? Absolutely. Right? Because that is a requirement for me, right? I'm not talking about that, but you can have what you want. And I can get oh, well, Amy, I had this person in my life and who played this role. And so now that role is vacant. So I need to go and fill that role. I understand that rationale, but here's what I have found, right? I can't put things together. I can't fix things. But what I have done is it's taught me how to ask for help. I have asked my brother for a lot of help, especially around my car and learning about cars. And it's also forced me to be where I'm like, girl, you need to figure this out. Right. And so it doesn't mean that I suddenly think I can fix everything and want to fix everything and do all the mechanical things in my life. No, I'm not good at those things. I definitely want a husband who can handle that. But I also now have given myself the space to get clear about what I'm actually good at and what I'm not. It's helped me advance my ability to ask for help. Because one thing with my ex-husband, I would say like, hey, can you fix this? But I wouldn't explain to him what I wanted him to do. So then he would set out on a course. And next thing I know, the whole fucking thing is taken apart when I just wanted him to put this piece back, right? And so now I'm a lot clearer on how to explain things. And I'm saying this to you because you get to do your life however way you want. But I know the message that's been coming forward very, very strongly as I'm listening to all these people get back into something is you need to give yourself a beat. And it's so hard for me because I believe that you can have everything you want, but I see why the message is coming through. It's not so much, oh, you have to be alone. We're not putting rules on it. No, you just need some time to come back to center and reclaim your energy and call your energy back and get clear about the type of relationship you want to be in and get clear about what wasn't working. It's hindsight is 2020 and it's a gift that we have. And so if you give yourself a beat, you get to reflect and say, hey, this worked for me. This didn't. This made me feel really good in relationship and in partnership. This didn't. This is my style and this is not my style. As opposed to just kind of accepting whatever shows up and entering right back into something that that I'm not saying is a repeat. I will say that. Like I haven't, because I've been tuned into energies of people who've gotten back into something. I will say it's better for them than what they left. Like every time I tune into it psychically, I'm like, oh, that is better. But is it right? Is it true to heart? Is it perpetuating the olden days where women had to marry again or because, they wouldn't have a life? But most of these women are the breadwinners. Like, like most of these women were the ones that were being like capable and holding it down that I'm seeing move back into another situation. And so I'm like, just give yourself a beat. You can be alone without being lonely. You can be there for yourself without feeling like you're missing out. Now, here's what I know to be true. This is the other piece. I'm going to throw this one in there. I do know energy really, 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 really well. And so if you don't give yourself a beat and you get back into a relationship, you might think, I just want some companionship. I want someone to spend time with. I want someone I can chat with, I can flirt with. Maybe you haven't had that like spark energy in a while, when relationships are petering out. Often what goes is that sexual attraction. And maybe you just want to feel beautiful and be in that flirty, shine your light type energy. I ain't mad at that. I'm a fan of it 100%. But here's what I've seen. If you have been in a long-term relationship for a long period of time, 9 times out of 10, if you don't take a beat, you're going to attract somebody who's trying to lock it back down. And I saw it with myself, even as I say this to you, like I did, like right after my divorce, I wanted just companionship. And that's what I went looking for. And what I attracted were men looking for a wife. And then I realized, because that's who I am. Like, I am a wife. And I'm not ready to be a wife right now. There's some things I need to experience in my own life before I can move back into being a wife. And I had to own that there was a distinct difference, right? And that's why I stopped dating, because I kept attracting men that wanted to settle down, get married, have me run their household. And I'm like, yes, I'm very, very good at those things. And I love those things. but the quality wasn't there. What I found was I was attracting either energetically, my ex-husband, we'll say none were quite as hot. So I did lose that, but I gained some other things. But it all came down to about the same energetically. And I was like, well, I don't want to go back to what I left. Not that that was a bad thing. It just wasn't the right thing. And I think that is the point and why my spirit guides were saying I need to do this show is that you can make a lateral move or you can make an upgraded move. And in order to make an upgraded move, you're going to need to take a beat. Because it's just too easy to just attract when it all shakes down. Maybe they work now and your ex didn't work, but then there's something else that's missing that you had before, and it all shakes out to be a lateral move. Whereas if you really want an elevated relationship, something better than you've ever had before, something that really is lights out good, so good, take the beat. Take the beat. Take the beat. You don't have to take just whatever. You don't have to make a lateral move. You can be in your own company for 5 seconds and feel all the things you need to feel. Give yourself space to grieve. So there's grieving, there's healing that will need to occur. There'll probably be some childhood patterns you'll need to look at. And then you got to get clear about what you want and where you're going. I mean, giving myself time. Oh, I am so crystal clear about what I'm going to attract next. Like so clear that when the few times I do share a little bit about what I know my next husband will be, like everybody tells me, like, Amy, it gives me chills. Because it's true. Because I spent enough time with it and got really clear on it that, yeah, no, that's going to be very, very easy for me. And so I want you to have that same ease, but not ease because you just got out of something and right back into something energetically similar. Maybe it's more peaceful, right? But it's still a lateral move. Those are my thoughts. Okay. Again, it wasn't the show I wanted to do, but I think I needed to do. So if you just got out of a relationship, the message coming forward is please give yourself the beat. Give yourself the beat. You have all these resources. We are not women living in olden times, right? So we don't have to just accept whatever we can get. We're not marrying based on like societal rules. And no, you get to choose what you want and exercise that right to choose. And there were a lot of women who worked really, really hard so we could have these freedoms. So exercise them. If you're into the ancestors, if you're into the goddesses, cool. Exercise all the work that has been done so that women can make really meaningful choices in their romantic life and don't just run back into something. Cool? All right, I'm Amy of Intuitive Coaching with Amy. Oh, okay. So I don't think it needs to take you a long time to get ready to be back in a relationship. I don't think it needs to take you a long time. And I'm here to support you in seeking and receiving exactly what you want. And oftentimes that can be done really quickly if your heart's open and you're willing. And you're like, I want what I want with all my heart, and I know the right person for me, and I can see it in my mind's eye, and I believe in this relationship, and I've been envisioning this relationship, and sure, I've been in relationships that weren't a match to that, but now I'm ready for that, and I know I'm an excellent manifester, and I know that if I just take a moment and line up with that, I'm going to attract it. Well, that's what I'm here to help you do. So we can do that in my light intuitive coaching package. It is 4 months. You get 4 sessions and you get email support over those 4 months. And you will do most of the work for yourself. And I'm here to just be a support system to you. Now, if you feel you need more support than that, if you need more thoughtfulness around it, if you are really ready, you're like, Amy, I want to be married by the end of the year, or at least engage, then consider the 3-month intuitive coaching package. And no matter what it is, if you are willing, if you are fired up, if you believe that you can have it and you are ready to align with it, then I can help you create it. Go to intuitivecoachingwithamy.com. You can choose any of my services, and you will create a beautiful, wonderful, amazing, glorious result in your romantic life that is an exact match to what you envision for yourself. Thank you so much for listening to this show. I look forward to connecting with you on the next. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.